It's the middle of winter, and I figured that I should give this winter sowing thing a try because I need to plant some seeds. But given that I live in Canada and our milk comes in bags, I'm gonna need to put a Canadian twist on it. Clamato. And if you want to know how we use the milk bags, we have a milk jug, and the milk bag goes in the milk jug. But you need to make sure it's all the way down, and then you can drink your milk. Okay, so we're back indoors, and like I said, I haven't done this before. So this is definitely not a winter sowing 101. This is me trying it out, seeing what works, and sharing it with you guys. I do like to do a lot of research before I jump into anything, so I've been going through other blog posts and reading things on the web about how to do winter sowing, and I've learned a few things, and I just want to share them with you guys. As I mentioned, I do not have the milk jug, so I'm going to be using the Clamato. It's kind of the same shape, not as wide and as big as the milk jug, but it's going to have to do. I also have these big water containers. The plastic is not as thick, but they are a lot bigger, so we'll have to see how those work out. Then I also have these little containers, but the plastic's really thick, or they had applesauce in them, so I wanted to try these out. Definitely not going to hold as much because they're much tinier, but I just want to try a variety of things and see what works best. And as I said, I'm a total noob at this. And if you just noticed, that is my epic Home Alone Lego set that we did for Christmas. I love that thing. One of the things that we should talk about is when is the best time to winter sow. Now, I don't think this has one answer because it's going to depend on where you are. I'm in Canada. There's a lot of snow outside right now. If you're somewhere in the States where it's much milder, or in BC or anywhere else, it's going to be different. Basically, the point of the winter sowing is to be able to sow some seeds in the middle of winter when you're just itching to sow seeds. But it also really helps with plants that need stratification. What that means is certain plants need to go through a period of freezing or cold in order to germinate properly. We'll go through some of those in a minute. So this is kind of ideal for that. Then there's other types of seeds that aren't going to be damaged by being frozen. They don't specifically need the freeze, but it's not going to hurt them. Those ones are good for winter sowing too. Another big benefit of the winter sowing is if you don't have the space or you don't have grow lights and a whole indoor setup, this is a great way to get certain seedlings started because all you're using are some jugs, some soil, and leveraging outside, which is very handy. So let's talk about what types of seeds are going to be best for this. You're going to have to look on your seed packages, and there's going to be certain words that are going to kind of indicate that these are good seeds or that these are good candidates for winter sowing. If it says that there's something that's self-sowing, if it's a perennial plant, or if it says that they need cold stratification, or if it says to direct sow out in very early spring. Also, if it mentions that they are cold hardy or frost hardy. And honestly, just try. If you have seeds that you want to put out and see if they're going to work, go for it. It doesn't matter if they say they're tender or that they are not frost hardy, because honestly, if you look on the packages of tomatoes, it most definitely says that they are not frost hardy. But I most definitely had a pant load of tomato plants that came up from seeds that had fallen in the year before and then germinated. And they survived and they came up. Give it a try. I'm going to try some tomatoes and some peppers a little bit later, probably at the beginning of March, to see if I can get a jump on some of those. And the one other great benefit of winter sowing is you do not have to harden off the seeds. If you're not sure what hardening off is, I'll give you a quick description of it, but I also link up my video up above on how to harden off your seedlings. Basically, if you're starting your seedlings indoors, they are not used to the temperatures outside or the wind or the sun or any of that stuff. They've been babied. Well, they're your plant babies, right? They need to go through an adjustment period, which involves taking them outside, bringing them back in, take them outside, bring them back in. And this goes on for about a week. So by doing the winter sowing, you can skip that whole step, which is a big plus as well. And the plants just, I have a feeling, are going to be more hardy just because they've gone through normal outside temperatures, but we'll have to see. All right, so let's talk about our containers now. Essentially, this is going to function like a little tiny greenhouse. But right now it's a closed environment and that's not going to work. So we're going to need to put some holes in it. We're going to need some at the top for ventilation and also to allow some of the moisture in if it rains or snows and it can get into the jar. We are also going to need to put some holes at the bottom for drainage. We also need to get in here to plant. and also to get the seedlings out in the spring, assuming they grow, and that's what we're hoping for. So we're going to need to cut around and basically make it so it flaps open so that we can get inside, and then you can tape it back up right now to keep it solid. So what I'm going to use very carefully is an X-Acto knife. I also have my drill. Why do I always want to make pew pew noises? I don't know, but I do. So we'll drill some holes and get some of these containers ready. Now, drill the holes before you cut the container because it's going to be a lot more stable to drill out the holes at the beginning. So make sure you do that first. I'm going to do that now. All right, so we got holes on the top, holes on the bottom, holes around the edges. Next thing we need to do is cut this bad boy open. And I cannot reinforce. Do not cut this until you've put the holes in. That, my friends, is a disaster. And be very careful with your cutting tools. I already did some sketchy cutting in some of the other containers. I did some of these. These were the hard plastic. Sketchy AF. Be very careful. Point of the cutting it, from what I can figure out, is that A, you need to be able to get the seeds in. B, you need to be able to get the seeds out. And you don't want to cut all the way through. So I'm going to leave the back part here. If you watch South Park, you make it like a Canadian. Flappy head. When it's cut like this, you can get the seeds in, you can get the plants out, and the top is still attached. So what we're going to do is at the end, we're going to tape it shut, but it just keeps it more secure is what I'm guessing. So if there's snow on it, the top doesn't fall off. This is what I'm going with. I had scissors. So that's what I was doing. I was making the hole with the X-Acto knife, then for safety's sake, using the scissors afterwards. Would highly recommend. So I already went ahead and prepped a bunch more of my containers because y'all don't need to watch me just cut open bottles or drill them. Now what we need to talk about is the plants that I am going to be planting. So first off, I'm going to attempt some Brussels sprouts. I have yet to actually grow some decent Brussels sprouts. I actually have some outside right now, completely buried in snow. I put them in, I want to say July-ish, with the thinking that they would be ready for the fall garden. But it was also a jungle out there last year. And by the time everything else had kind of gone away or been cut down, they hadn't really done a lot. So I love an experiment. I left them out. We'll see if they do anything this spring. I'm kind of assuming they're going to turn to mush, but we'll see. So in an effort to actually grow some, I'm going to try these with winter sowing, and we'll see what happens. So these ones, it says on the back, they are frost hardy. But like I mentioned, if you have something you really want to grow, just try it, even if it doesn't say it's frost hardy, because those tomatoes sure as hell grew on their own. So I'm going to try some of these Brussels sprouts. I'm going to put them in one of the little containers because I'm only going to do like one. I'm going to put 2 seeds, and I'm probably only going to keep 1. Next thing I'm going to try is cauliflower. Again, I have never grown a really good cauliflower. So this is going to be the year. Another frost hardy plant. A lot of the brassicas are going to be frost hardy, and they are sturdy plants. That is also going in a small container. Now, this beauty. The fact that this looks like a fractal gets the regular nerd in me, and the fact that it's a plant that looks like a fractal makes the plant nerd in me very happy, and it's just gosh darn beautiful. So I'm going to try and grow this Romanesco broccoli. It is also going to get a small container. I do have some of these outside already. Same experiment as the Brussels sprouts because they were put in at the same time, but didn't have enough time to really get to having a head or anything. I am also going to try this year planting them outside sooner. So maybe around May, June, and see if that makes a difference. And then hopefully I can figure out my sweet spot for brassicas in a fall garden. Because they definitely don't like the heat either. Because if I plant them too early, then they're probably not going to do well either. So kind of stack. And I'm hoping that the winter sowing gets them through enough of that cool season that they can really get going before the heat of summer hits. We shall see. Next, another one I want to try. It's no pretty package on this one. This one is the green globe artichoke. So I love artichokes. I don't know how you eat them. I like dipping the leaves, cooking them, and then dipping the leaves in butter. It's so good. And the idea of being able to have my own artichokes that I grew is pretty exciting. So the part that we actually eat of the artichoke is the flower. A word on the street is that if you don't harvest it and you let it go to seed, the bees go insane for the flower. So my goal is to at least grow 2 artichokes. One I'm about to put in my belly and one for the bees. And then we'll see how that does. Another container you can use is the chicken container. It's like a mini greenhouse. And if you have a rise garden, which I would highly recommend because you can grow all year round, I'll put a link up above to one of my videos of the rise garden, pretty much what the old school nursery that it came with looked like. So I'm going to use this, and this one, because it's a lot bigger, and I've put the holes in the top and the bottom, I'm going to grow a couple of different things in here. So in here, I am going to grow some spinach. I mentioned in one of my other videos, I lost a lot of my spinach. No, full disclosure, I lost all my spinach last year to leaf miners. Hopefully this will help, and I'll keep it covered. So spinach is going in here. I'm also going to try this, and I'm about to butcher this, Chi Jimsai. So it's a type of brassica. It's supposed to taste quite sweet. It also is very, 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 very cold hardy. I actually have some out front, which is now covered in snow, but before it was covered in snow, it was doing pretty good. It even grew a new leaf. And I have some milkweed that I got in a trade, so we're going to try that because this one definitely has to be cold stratified. So winter sowing's perfect. So those guys are going to go in ye old chicken container. I have some poppies. I got the Pandora poppy from Baker Creek. I also have the amazing gray poppy. I did grow some of those last year. They were beautiful. I think I have a picture of it on my Instagram. My Instagram over there. I also have some calendula that I want to try. It is frost hardy as well. Oh my God, it's beautiful outside. I have to show you guys the snow. One of the things that I am doing this year is I'm going to be putting in a medicinal herb garden. So calendula is going to be really important for that. I am also going to try drying it and then making some salves, maybe some soap, try a bunch of different things for that. Next is the green twister echinacea, and I waited so long to get this one because it's so pretty. So again, medicinal herb garden. We have the white horehound. I don't even know how I'm going to use this, but I just wanted to add it in. And then we have marshmallow. One needs to be cold stratified, so this is going to be perfect. Oh, and if I have room, I have these wild blueberries. I make a blueberry smoothie almost every single morning. And one day I decided to strain out the contents. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but these things are itty bitty. And I saved these wild blueberry seeds from my smoothie. So they've already been cold stratified because they came out of frozen blueberries. And just for shits and giggles, we're going to try these ones as well and see if we can grow some wild blueberries and see what we get. So those ones are going to go in the bigger containers. But now we need to stop talking and get to the doing. Next, you are going to need some potting soil. For me, I like the Pro Mix, but you can use whatever potting mix you like. I had some vermiculite, so I added some of that in. And now the most important thing is you have to pre-moisten it. Do you see my new whack jar? I love whack jars. Put a link down below to this one if you like it. You must pre-moisten the potting soil. And we're using potting soil, not seed starting mix. We need it to be a little bit more robust for the winter sowing. So we're going to pre-moisten this because this is the only time, from what I understand, that we're actually going to water this. The holes in the tops of the containers will allow some rain through. We've also got holes in the bottom. It's important that it's pre-moistened. And the idea is to get it so that when you squeeze it, it holds together, but it's not like leaking out moisture. So I'm going to move this to this side, and then I'm going to see where we're at. We're getting there. Probably could have done with a bigger bowl. That looks pretty good. Holding together. Mucky hands. Nobody said this was going to be a clean thing. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our containers, open their flappy little heads as best you can, and then we're going to pack it in. And then I'm going to just put the seeds on the surface, put a little bit more down, and then once I'm done, I'm going to go find my sprayer, and I'm just going to spray the top just to make sure it's nice and moist in there. And then we will truck these things outside. I'm going to post this video before I see how it turns out, so that it gives you guys a chance to try it if you want to. And then I'll do a follow-up video later to see if this even worked. Because like I said, I don't know. It's gonna work. I had those tomatoes that came back on their own. If non-frost hardy plants can come back over the winter, I think these guys will be okay. And like I said, I am gonna try actually that's when I'll do an update. I'll do an update in like March when I try some of those tomatoes and peppers. That'll be the goal. Hopefully I remember. So I'm gonna get all these containers filled and then we'll come back and put some seeds. Okay, so I got all my containers done. I just finished doing the chicken container, which I'm going to put a couple of different seeds in. Just before Christmas, I ended up being able to pick up a green stalk. I'm super excited about that. I'm gonna do the whole unboxing and setup when it's not frozen outside. I will be hopefully putting some of the spinach into that. We'll get it started in here. I'm just gonna sprinkle the seeds over the top here. Then I'm going to put in the chijimsai. Totally butchered that. These are a much tinier seed. Oop. A few for the table. These ones will go in the middle. As I mentioned, these are very, very frost hardy. I still have some outside, which are probably still growing very well under all the snow. And then lastly, I got some of these milkweed in a trade. I have no idea how big milkweed seeds even are because I haven't grown them before. They have some seeds here. They've still got their floofs on them. Ooh, there's floofs everywhere now. Put some of those in. Oh my God, they're everywhere. They're so soft. Floof. Not the floof. Oh my God. Okay, we have a floof issue right now. And I'll deal with that afterwards. Floofs aside. Oh my God, they're everywhere. Put the lid on. I'm gonna tape this shut. And then once I'm done, we'll move them all outside. Seriously? I also don't actually have a garden marker yet. I need to get one. I'll put the link down below to a good one. And the reason that they are good instead of Sharpies is they don't disappear with the sun. But like I said, I don't have one. I'm going to write on this container and then I'll take a picture of it. And hopefully I'll find the picture later on and remember which is in which spot. Okay, so I'll move this one out of the way. Next, I have these big containers. So now what to put in the big ones. Definitely going to do echinacea in one. Like I said, I've been trying to get this one for ages. There are loads of different types, but this one is just so pretty. And it's supposed to be great for the bees too. And then I am going to harvest some of this and start making some echinacea tinctures. That's the plan. I did try and grow some last year. It didn't work as well, but I got those seeds in a trade, so I don't know how old they were. I'm just going to sprinkle them on the top. How do I spell echinacea? All right, so that's the echinacea done. The floofs are still flying around. Not my own creation. I saw somebody else do this. But the washi tape, I think it's used for scrapbooking. It's good to seal up your packages. Now they have some sticky stuff on them, but eventually it starts to kind of go away. But I just put that stuff on the back and then I don't lose my seeds. I'll put the link down below to the one that I grabbed, but anyone will do. I'm going to keep that out because I'm going to need that again. So that is the echinacea done. Next, I'll do the calendula. This is probably one of the ones that I am most excited to really get growing. I'm going to be making a seed drying rack that I'm going to use when I harvest these. They're just gorgeous. Actually, the underneath of the flower is actually even prettier than the top. And they're useful medicinal herbs. Getting a big bottle. They're creepy and spiky and weird looking. They actually look like bugs to me. But we'll get a couple of those guys in here. Then when I'm done planting all of them, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more soil on top and then wet it down with my sprayer. Next is the poppies. Not sure, I think I'm going to put 2 poppies in one of the big containers. Poppy seeds are so tiny. These are not the size of poppy seeds that you're used to from your bagel. If you want those, you need to do the bread seed poppies, which my neighbor's doing. I want to try and show how tiny those are. Like they're practically microscopic. I don't want to lose those. These ones don't even get pressed into the soil. That was the Amazing Gray. Now I'm going to do the Pandora. There we go. There's enough of that just right here. That is the poppies pretty much done. They'll just get a spray of water. So this is poppies. So really this Sharpie is just going to be so I can place them outside and take a picture of where they are, because it's not going to last very long. All right, so now I got the little guys. I am going to do the cauliflower. This one, the Rober cauliflower, is supposed to be one of the best ones to grow. It's my first time with it. I'm going to be ambitious, and I'm going to put 4 seeds in here. There's definitely not enough room for 4 seeds in here, but I'm not sure they're all going to take, which Murphy's Law states they will all grow. All right, so this is cauliflower. Once I'm all done, I'm gonna tape these up with some duct tape, and hopefully that will keep everything together. Next, I will do my Romanesco. If only one thing worked, I want it to be this Romanesco. And I'm just trying to put them kind of equidistant apart at this point. It's gonna be so cool to go out in the spring and hopefully see these things start to grow. It's gonna be exciting. These will be the first things growing in the garden, other than things that have reseeded from last year. Brussels sprouts. And then I got 2 more containers. Next I have marshmallow and horehound. I think I'm going to do the horehound in my last little guy. This is another one that is going in the medicinal herb garden. Horehound is supposed to be good. I believe it goes on cough drops and candy, but I heard that, yeah, it was good for helping with coughs. So I've never grown it before. I don't even know if I've ever even had any horehound, to be honest. That will be an experiment for this year. In the Kamado container, we will do 2 artichokes. The artichoke seeds are actually pretty big. So a general rule for planting your seeds is you want to plant them twice as deep as the seed itself. So a pea is going to go down much deeper than, say, a poppy, which literally just stays on the surface. Second Clamato container is going to be the wild blueberries. This one's a complete crapshoot. Like I said, they came out of my smoothie. I'm going to just sprinkle most of them on the surface. And even if these do grow, I believe it's going to take about 3 to 5 years before they'd even produce fruit. This one is just for fun and to see what's possible. Last one is the marshmallow. Now we will throw some marshmallow in. Again, for the medicinal herb garden. Again, this is for the medicinal herb garden. These ones are one that must be cold stratified or they're not going to grow properly. I'm going to start sprinkling some more soil on top of these, and I will get my mister and we will wet these down. So now what I'll do is I got some extra soil. Just going to sprinkle that gently on top, taking my mister, pump it up. And then, oh, okay, don't do it like that. Then put on mist, not obliterate, and just wet down the surface. I just need some tape, and this is good to go outside. I got my tape. This is like extra sticky. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up all the rest of these with sprinkling on the soil, misting them. Now we gotta go outside into the snow. I need some boots. Right, let's get these guys out there, stepping in the footprints. So this is the echinacea. Pop that guy down in there. And then I'm gonna go get all the other ones, which I can't carry if I'm holding this camera. And then I'll show you once I'm done. Okay, get going. Megan, come back. What are you doing? All right, well, I'm going over here. Bye. So there we have it. All of our little winter sowing jugs. That's a good test run for a first time. And then I will do a follow-up video to this in the spring once things start growing a bit more. I'm definitely going to try and do some tomatoes and peppers, but probably not until March or April even. So it's a little bit warmer, and then I don't have to worry as much. And I will definitely do a follow-up on these guys to kind of show you guys if anything's going on. I don't know if anything will be at that point. We'll be on this experiment together. And hopefully you guys will go out and try your own winter sowing, and then let me know down in the comments how you guys are making out. Or if you're already doing it, what are you winter sowing? And have you pushed the boundaries before, like I'm going to with the tomatoes? So that's everything situated outside. And if you want to check out when I went through the whole Baker Creek catalog, you can check that out here. Or I was picking out some of the things that I just put back there in the winter sowing. And if you want to check out my playlist on micro homesteading, you can check that out up there. So until next time, don't forget to enjoy the little things and make food grow. Bye guys.